Bonyads are one of the most important things to understand where you are looking at the economy of Iran. A unique feature of Iran's economy is the presence of large religious foundations called bonyad, whose combined budgets represent more than 30% of central government spending. It is a charitable trusts in Iran that play a major role in Iran's non-petroleum economy, controlling an estimated 20% of Iran's GDP.
Did this idea originate with the Islamic Revolution?
No. Bonyads founded as royal foundations by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, the original bonyads were criticized for providing a smokescreen of charity to patronage, economic control, for-profit wheeling and dealing done with the goal of keeping the Shah in power, supporting his loyalists, and creating a network of economic interests for them. Bonyads are heavily tied to the state of Iran and intertwined with the teachings of Islam. Officially, these entities are non-for-profit organizations that operate to redistribute wealth to poor and destitute citizens of Iran as well as the families of martyrs for the state. So in reality these institutions fall under the direct control of the supreme leader of Iran, and many have criticized them for being extensions of the government that further the control of Iran's head of state.
And what is the reason for criticizing the bonyads?
The thing to know about these institutions is that they are not like the Iranian version of the Red Cross. Iran has in recent decades tried to promote the growth of service industries and value-adding domestic corporation, which is great. Facilitating the operation of competitive businesses is a really important part of any good economy. Today, there are over 100 bonyads, and they are criticized for many of the same reasons as their predecessors before Islamic Revolution. The bonyads are involved in everything from vast soybean and cotton fields to hotels to soft drinks to auto manufacturing to shipping lines. These bonyads may get really hard to compete. If you are trying to start a hotel company in Iran, you would have to compete with the dozens of companies that have investments in the commercial hospitality market. They make heavy investments into real estate companies, infrastructure projects, and the like. They also get money directly from the government from charitable and tax-deductible donations and from their investments.
You mean that they are subsidized by the state, don't have to produce financial records, or adhere to accounting standards, and don't have to pay tax?
Exactly, which puts your non-subsidized, regulated and taxed business at a bit of a disadvantage in the open market. This has in many instances stifled proper economic and private sector. The most prominent one is the Banyadi Mostazafan Va Janbazin, or Foundation for the Oppressed and Disabled. For example, controls 20% of the country's production of textiles, 40% of soft drinks, 2/3 of all glass products, and a dominant share also in tiles, chemicals, tires, foodstuffs. It was founded in 1979 as a successor to the Pahlavi Foundation. As an economic, cultural, and social welfare institution, the foundation controls manufacturing and industrial companies, whose profits are used according to the foundation to promote the living standards of the disabled and poor individuals. They also get money directly from the government from charitable and tax-deductible donations and from their investments.
This opens the door to corruption, control, and monopoly.
Yap. Some economists argue that its chair, and not the Minister of Finance or President of the Central Bank, is considered the most powerful economic post in Iran. The foundation and other bonyads are exempt from official oversight as key religious leaders and former or current government officials control them. They enjoy virtual tax exemption and customs privileges, preferential access to credit and foreign exchange, and regulatory protection from private sector competition. In addition to the very large national bonyads, almost every Iranian town has its own bonyad, affiliated with local mullahs. Bonyads also play a crucial role in the spread of Iranian influence through extensive transnational and international activities, including philanthropy and commerce as soft power as well as providing hard power support. As employers of approximately 5 million Iranians and providers of social welfare services to perhaps several million more, bonyads such as Mostazafan have a large constituency and are able to build support for the regime among the working and lower classes. Nonetheless, the foundation has been subject to a number of controversies common to other bonyads in the years since its inception.
This point is one of the strongest structural weaknesses in the Iranian economy, as it completely prevents the growth of the private sector and thus stops any attempt to develop and improve people's conditions and standard of living.
In 2003, there was talk of the foundation spinning off its social responsibilities and becoming a purely commercial conglomerate, leaving open the question of who would own it and why it should exist as a foundation.